All right, we are lit. Well, I'm going to walk you through my makeup routine lately. This changes often, but I've really dialed in a beautiful foundation routine that it makes it look like I have a filter on my face, but I don't. So if that's what you're looking for, you're in the right place. I'm going to talk as I apply. Hopefully this tutorial won't be too long. We are starting with foundation. My skin is prepped. So the foundation is 2 colors of luminous silk, and then a pump of the fluid sheer. And I put it all right on this brush. This is a Sephora foundation brush. I will link everything at the end. So I'm doing 1 pump of 5.25, 1 pump of 5.1. I should have put lip balm on before I started. And then 1 pump of fluid sheer. So they're all on the brush. And then I dot it to evenly spread it all over my face. And once I've spread the product out, because I'm doing 3 different colors, I want to make sure I've got a little bit of each color everywhere. Then I'll go through and buff it in. Foundation is on, but my lips are so dry. I'm just going to put a tiniest bit of gloss on. I'm going to use this at the end, but I need a little moisture in there. Next, we're doing concealer. I've been using the NARS Vanilla Concealer. This is the creamy concealer. The shade is vanilla. I kind of said that backwards. I have some dark freckles on the outside of each eye, so I like to put a little concealer there, down the center of my nose. And then I have some dark spots that I have to admit are fading quite nicely, so I'm happy about that. And then I use a damp beauty blender to blend in the concealer. So filling in the eyebrows, I just like to follow the direction of the hair growth. I did get my eyebrows microbladed, but I'm in that time where I've yet to do the touch-up. But I love this shape, and it gives me a little bit of a guide, which I appreciate. All right, the eyebrows are on. Let's do eyeshadow. I've been loving the Laura Mercier cream or caviar eyeshadow stick in Au Naturel. It's a shade that just really works beautifully with my skin tone. I think it works on a lot of people because it's sort of a pink gray undertone, so it's nice and neutral, not too warm, not too like mauve in shade. So I'm putting that all over my eye and I'm spreading it with a brush, but I'll use my finger to diffuse the edges. And then I'm going to add a little bit of a darker color to the outer part, but this is sort of the base color for all over the lid. For continuity, I like to bring a little bit of the eyeshadow base color along my under or along my lower lash line. This helps round out my eyes a little bit. And the step I haven't yet done is set my concealer with the Secret Brightening Powder from Laura Mercier. I love this stuff. I really notice on the days I forget it. But the reason I'm doing it after applying cream eyeshadow is I'm going to dust this under my eye, which sets the concealer. And then whatever's left on the brush, which is very little, I'll just dust over the edges. Since I'm going to put some powder shadow on there, it takes away a little bit of the tackiness, so I don't have any like splotchy issues. Now, if I were to just leave the cream eyeshadow alone, it would be just fine. But since I know I'm going to put some darker shadow on there, I just want to tap away some of that tackiness. So now the under eye is set. If any mascara or eyeliner flakes off during the day, it'll just brush away instead of melting onto that concealer. All right, so let's finish the eyes a little bit. I'm going to grab a palette that I've loved for a long time. I don't hear a lot of people talk about it. It's the Too Faced Natural Eyes palette. It's just got great colors. Like I said, I'll link to everything at the end. I'm just going to put some of the darker shade really close to Au Naturel, but a little darker at the outer part of my eye here. Can you see how that added a little bit of depth? That's all I'm going for today. And then I'll take a smudge brush, pick up the darkest shade, and bring that under the eye as well. So you can see that adds nice definition and almost makes my eyes look rounder, like there's a shadow under it. And now I'm picking up the lightest shade to diffuse some of that darker color away and just blend that shadow a little bit. I'm using a brown eyeliner. This is Demolition from Urban Decay. And focusing on the outer part of the lash line first. I like to draw in. It's like a sneaky way to have the eyelid be taut without touching it. And then immediately after putting this eyeliner on, I take my smudge brush when everything's still a little soft and smudge it out. This thickens the line a bit, it softens it, and it helps take away any like jagged, uneven edges. I like a really soft eyeliner. So smudging it right after I apply it makes a huge difference. For a little flick at the end, I will take an eyebrow brush that has an angled tip, put the product directly on the brush, not the spoolie side, and then, pardon the finger, I'm just gonna follow as if I was starting here and going up. I don't want to angle it too much, but we're just gonna put a little line there. And this line often gets hidden by my mascara, which is kind of the point. I don't want it to look like a big dramatic cat eye for day, but it just makes my eyelashes look like they're a little wider than they actually are because there's some darkness there. Now I'm taking that same eyeliner, same smudge brush, putting some product right on the brush, and then just adding the tiniest bit more depth to my lower lash line. Not a strong line, as you can see. It's really hard, unless you're going for a specific makeup look. It's hard to make lower lash line eyeliner look soft and flattering if you're applying it directly from the product itself without like really smudging it out. You can use your finger to smudge it. You don't need a brush if you don't have one, but there's nothing that like looks more harsh on the face than just eyeliner and left on its own. Just smudge it. Just smudge it a little bit. Try with your fingers first if you don't want to invest in a tool. All right, I want to add a little bit of contour to my face. So I'm picking a favorite palette. We're going to go right under the cheekbone here. I am not a dramatic contour kind of girl, but it does make a difference when I've flattened out my face with foundation and concealer, which I did, as you saw. I like to put some under my chin, and I always diffuse it down, and then a teeny bit around the edge of my forehead. And then the last place that sometimes I do, sometimes I totally skip, I kind of flatten the brush to make it wide. And just do the edge of my nose very lightly. So the contour is finished. Now I'm doing the second part of it's not a filter, but it kind of looks like a filter, this Hourglass palette. I'm running my brush through all 3 shades. These luminous light palettes are just so beautiful. You don't have to get all 3. You can just pick the one color that works for you, but it really does look stunning on the skin. So if you're looking to add like one thing just to like kick your makeup up a notch, if you're happy with everything else, that's where I would direct you. I'm going to go with an old classic, the NARS Liquid Blush. Where are you? I like liquid or cream blush. Honestly, like genuinely happy with both. I like to pump a little bit of it onto the back of my hand. That's probably a bit too much. So we're going to spread that out a little. This is a Makeup by Mario blush brush, and I'm having trouble finding it. So I will link to something similar. But it is not a blush specifically designed for liquid or powder. It is just a standard blush brush, but you can see I'm using it with liquid. I've used it with powder, and I've used it with cream, and it works fine. This is a milk chocolate bronzer. I'm doing this after blush because I want to take away a little bit of the intensity of the pink. Not all of it, but just a little bit. So that's the face. I hope you can see through the reflection here that everything looks diffused. The makeup coverage is medium. I have added a lot of powders and layers on top of it that still feel really light, but this is one of those makeup looks that just looks flawless all day, and it kind of gets better after it sets on your skin a little bit. I've been skipping setting spray. It's dry enough here. I'm not sweating as much, so I kind of don't need it. And I have enough powders on my face that they've all kind of blended together. I'm using a light hand with them, so I kind of leave it here. I need some mascara, and there's just really no way to do that on camera that looks not totally awkward. So I'm gonna put a little mascara on, and then I'll be back to finish the look. Mascara is all finished. I'm gonna do a little lip. So we've got lipstick on, and then I'm gonna finish with some of this gloss. So here's the finished makeup look. Again, if you wanna find links to anything, you can find those on my Like to Know It page. I'll put it on the blog as well. The two game changers for this, like, it's not a filter, but it looks like a filter, is that Hourglass palette, and then that Armani, I always forget the name of it, Armani Fluid Sheer Glow Enhancer. You can also pump this in with your moisturizer. Like if you're not a foundation kind of girl, but you want to sort of balance everything out, you want to look lit from within, just mix this with your daily moisturizer, apply it, and you will look radiant.